Hi there, it's George Ira Carroll here, and I'd love to share a quick story if I may. There was a man named Richard who, growing up, experienced a lot of abuse from his parents. He was beaten as a child. He experienced a lot of abuse from bullies. He was teased all the time. He never had any girlfriends because he was, too shy and too ugly. And so, after experiencing years and years and years of this abuse, after graduating high school, he decided that he would move away. And he was in search and really on a mission to find a master that would teach him mystical ways so that he could get even with those who he had perceived had wronged him throughout the years. So after months and months and months of searching for a master who could teach him the ways, he found somebody in Asia called Master Song. And he sought out Master Song, and one day he finally found him. And he says to Master Song, he says, "Master Song, I want to learn the ways, the mystical ways. Will you teach me?" And Master Song was a very genuine and loving and heartfelt man and had a very unique way about him. He was very different. He never conformed to society's ideas. He always did things his way and went against the grain when it came to teaching his students. And he was also very intuitive, and he noticed that Richard, in his request to teach him the mystical ways, had a sort of an anger and a resentment in his energy about him. So he told Richard, he said, "Yes, Richard, I'll teach you the ways, but you must promise me to do one thing." And Richard kind of thought for a moment, and thinking about all those people who had wronged him in the past, he said with a resentment and an anger, he said, "Yes, anything, anything." And Master Song calmly said, "You must agree to do everything that I say no matter what." And Richard kind of thought for a moment and said, "Well, okay, all right, I'll do anything that you say, no matter what." And he had this sort of eagerness and deceit look in his eye. And so Master Song tells him to go over to the land over there beyond the woods. He says, "On that land, you'll build me a house." And he gave him the instructions and everything necessary for him to build the house. So Richard began, taking the bricks and the logs and eagerly began building and building and building and building. And after a year passed, months and months had passed, and almost close to a year had passed, Richard was finished with the house. So he looked for Master Song, brought Master Song all the way back to the house. He said, "Here it is." And Master Song said, "No, that's not my land. That's my brother's land. Demolish it and rebuild it over there. That's my land." And Richard was angry. He said, "No, I will not rebuild this land again. I will not do it again." And Master Song just calmly asked, "Do you want me to teach you the mystical ways?" And Richard just thought for a moment. He had this anger and hatred and resentment in him, and he said, "Yes, okay, fine, I'll do it." And so, again, he began rebuilding the house. He took down all the bricks and all the logs and carried them over to the other hill where Master Song's land was. And he began angrily and resentfully rebuilding the house, brick by brick, log by log. And after another year, he was finished, and he marched down to the village where Master Song lived, brought him back. Master Song took one look at the house and said, "No, this is unacceptable. I will not accept rage and anger and all this energy of this house that you built. I will not accept it. Rebuild it, do it again." And this time Richard was just defeated. He put all this angry energy in and to rebuild it and this resentment, and Master Song wanted him to build it again. So this time he was a little tired and a little defeated. So he thought that he would sort of deceive Master Song by only rebuilding one part of it, the front part of it. And so he took long breaks throughout the year, and he only rebuilt that front part. He only rebuilt the front of the house. And as he finished, he went back to Master Song. He said, "Okay, I'm finished." Master Song came back and said, "Unacceptable. Unacceptable. You try to deceive me. You try to deceive this house that I asked you to create. Rebuild it. Do it again." Now Richard was just depleted of energy. He didn't know what else to do. So as Master Song walked off, Richard thought deeply about what he wanted to do with his house, because he so desperately wanted to learn the mystical ways so that he could get back at all those people who had deceived him and who had wronged him growing up. Well, finally, Richard had come to the conclusion that he needed to pay more attention, that maybe he needed to build this house from a place of service, from a place of love, from a place of gratitude and acceptance and appreciation. And each brick he laid down, he was very careful and very diligent and very present. And he was beginning to become energized by building his house and this house from this place. And so after a year had passed, he was so energized by building this place from love and appreciation, gratitude and service, that he had built a 9-story house. He built a 9-story house. And after it was finished over a year, he went to Master Song. Master Song was brought to the house. Master Song looked at it and said, now this is beauty. Now I will teach you the ways of the mystical. And Richard thought for a moment. He said, there's no need. Over the years, I've learned many powerful lessons from you. And I've learned the most powerful lesson of all of life. And Master Song, I want to thank you for giving me the most powerful lesson I could have ever learned. Thank you so much. And it's interesting, isn't it? I'm curious, too, as to why and from what place are you building your house of life? You know, so many times we have tough childhoods growing up, and after we leave, we set out to prove ourselves, and we build our life from anger or resentment or to try to prove something to somebody. And when in the end, when we build our lives from love, appreciation, from gratitude, from service, it's only then that we build a masterpiece out of our lives. And there once was a quote that I heard recently, and it said, "Life is but a canvas to the paintbrush of the heart." Take care, God bless, and go build your masterpiece.